I'm going to do a video on this inexpensive pair of speakers. These were just $8 maybe at Comp Geeks, and nothing to them. Basically, you plug your one end into USB, and that's for power, I suppose, because your other end goes into the out or headphone jack. Then they're tethered together, of course. It looks like we're going to get a tone, a volume, and a power, and then still have an additional headphone jack if we want to listen to headphones. So nothing super fancy here. Of course, we're talking under $10. And the reason I got these was, I think they said 70 watts or something, 32 watts. And the other inexpensive speakers maximum was about 20 watts. So we'll just pop open the box here. You can never tell how big they're going to be. There was some that were really organic shaped, and I wanted some that just sort of looked normal, so I got some square shaped ones here. Maybe they'll look a little bit less weird on the desk. I suspected there might be some need for a knife in this video, so I had a knife ready. And they're basically just each in a little plastic bag, I guess, to keep dust or whatever, keep them from getting scratched. And then the bags are just sort of taped up. And most speakers come in some sort of setup like this. So they look a lot like the packaging. That's good. And just like the package says, we've got a USB which is on its own wire, and it looks like we've got a pretty decent length here. Does it say how long the USB cord is? It doesn't say on the package, so let me just, since I've got a tape measure right here, pull this twist tie off. And we'll just go down the length of this USB. And we're right at about 50 inches or so, a little over 50 inches for the USB. And then that's pretty much what the sound cable is going to be, I assume, since they're meant to both plug into the computer. And they are pretty much close to the same length. And then we've got the third wire is really just the one that lets the two speakers separate from each other, you know, separate sides of your desk or whatever. And you're not going to get across the room or anything, but you will get looks like we'll get about 30 inches apart from each other. Now the one that's on the tether is just a remote speaker. The one that has the power cords and the sound cord is the one with the controls, and it's again got tone, volume, power, and a headphone jack. And that can be pretty handy, especially not so much a big deal on a laptop like this, but on a desktop computer, having the speakers be basically an extension for you. That can actually be pretty handy, I think. Alright, so first I've got a song here queued up, and I'll probably get arrested for playing a song, but I don't know how else to demonstrate speakers. I'm just going to play it here at maximum volume on the computer itself. And it's pretty loud, I guess, but it's not, I wouldn't want to watch a movie at this maximum volume. Not if I was going to sit on, you know, a couple of feet away. But it's doing fine. So now let's see what happens when we plug in our speakers here. So I guess we'll have to push the power button, and a little green LED came on. Nicely, they're set for maximum tone and volume. Let's set it about halfway and see what happens. We'll just let that song continue here. Oh yeah, quite a bit louder, I think. Let's play with that tone. Now that's half volume. I'm going to go up to full volume. And it sounds pretty junky. So I just turned the power button off on the speaker. It sounds a little junky. I guess I could test it with a movie, which is probably a little better than an old punk song. But definitely louder. I'll test it on a couple of different types of audio here and see what happens. So I just put in a DVD, and I'm not going to show the DVD. I'm just going to let some of the credits here start. I don't know if I'll get arrested for this either. But now without the speakers, definitely sounds a little tinnier coming out of the computer. So, my opinion, I'm going to pause this before I get arrested for something. So, definitely seems like these speakers are worth the $7. On that old song, it was a horrible example. I should have picked something else. But, you know, they weigh nothing. They'll be pretty inconspicuous in the corner of a desk. Like I say, if you've got a desktop computer and these connections are going to end up being, you know, maybe down on the floor behind your desk or something, it is kind of nice to have a remote headphone jack with a volume up on your desk, and you get a lot of features there for $7-10 or whatever they ended up costing. And I'll give them a thumbs up. Cheap, inexpensive remote speakers for a computer. Another interesting thing we found out about these speakers, since the plug doesn't know that it's plugged into the USB of the computer or anything else, we went over to our Droid here, and that's about as loud as we can get out of the Droid. So now we'll plug in the speakers. That's all the way up there. Much better sound though. So basically the speakers are going to work for multiple devices for you, so that's kind of handy.